Okay guys, so I'm going to start by chopping 2 onions. So I'll just take the ends off first. And hopefully you can see this okay. And then I'm going to chop it straight down the middle. Like that for both, and peel off the outer layer because we don't want that brown stuff, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, and then because we want quite chunky pieces of onion, all we're going to then do is slice down the onion like this so that we get rings, but half rings, okay? So I'm going to do that and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so the onion is all ready, and now what we're going to do, we're going to use the air fryer to fry the onion off. However, you can just use a frying pan if you want to with oil. I'm going to use this, it's called Fry Light. Less than 10 sprays of this is no points on Weight Watchers, so it's a good one to use if you're on a calorie controlled diet, but feel free to use any oil that you prefer if you do prefer a bit more oil in there than I would. So I'm going to just put those into the air fryer and then I'll catch up with you. Okay everyone, so what I've done is I've popped our onions into the air fryer, which is here. So basically the onions and the oil go into this section, and then we close it off, and then I've changed the settings on the air fryer for it to work. You will probably be more likely to just use a frying pan at home, so feel free to do that. We'll probably fry them for about 10 minutes roughly. Depending how you like them, but the more browner they are, the nicer it'll taste. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the onions to cook, I'm going to use a slow cooker for my recipe, but you can use a pot on your stove, that is absolutely fine. This is just what I happen to have, and it's more convenient for me. If you want to, put all of these spices in with the onions and let them fry a little bit, but not much, because you don't want to burn them, but a little bit. I can't do that, so I'm just going to put my spices straight into the slow cooker, and then I'm going to go from there. So bear with me a moment, I'm just going to get ready, and then I will put all the spices in and show you what you need to put in. Okay, one moment. Okay, so the first thing that's going to go in is some garlic. You can use fresh garlic if you want. This is just my very easy option, and you use 2 cloves. Now for me, I like it very garlicky, so I'm going to put nearly a whole teaspoon in, which is quite a lot really. So I'm just going to pop that straight into the slow cooker, or if you want to fry it off with the onions, feel free. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is, again, a very lazy version, the chilli. Again, you can use fresh chilli if you want to. This is just an easy option for me, and I'm going to use half a teaspoon of chilli because I'm not very good with spices, so I'm going to use half a teaspoon. But it does say on the original recipe to use 1 fresh chilli. Okay, so then we're going to add some ginger. Again, I've got the lazy option here, and it says to use a teaspoon of ginger, of root ginger. So again, you can buy the fresh stuff. I'm going to use this puree, so I'm going to put a teaspoon of that into the mixture. Okay, then I'm ready to add some more spices now. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of ground turmeric, which is this one, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of medium curry powder, 1, 2. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of garam masala, 1, 2. 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and a little bit of salt. So to taste really, it says a teaspoon, but go with whatever your flavour is. I like quite a bit of salt, so that's me. Okay. So that is now all of your spices added. They could have been added to the onions and fried off. All of that could have been added to the onions. So I'm going to get the onions out now and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, thank you. Okay guys, so I've browned the onions to a degree in the air fryer. Obviously they get a lot browner if you don't do the healthy option and do it on fried in other oil rather than fry light. I'm going to add that straight in to my slow cooker. That's all nice flavour in there to add. Okay, so now in the slow cooker we have this. Don't know if you can see that because the onions are very hot. So I'll be back to you in a moment to see what else you need to add. Okay then, so the next ingredients before you turn your slow cooker on, or if you want to add it all into a saucepan, we can do that as well. So you add 2 tins of tomatoes, peeled plum, chopped tomatoes, whichever ones you want is fine, however you like it, okay? So these ones are peeled plum tomatoes, which I'm going to squash down a bit because they're a bit big really, so probably the chopped ones would have been easier. And I'll be back to you now. So once you've added your tomatoes and mix them in or squash them down like I did, then you need to add some coconut milk. You can buy this from any supermarket and you can use cream. So if you've got cream, use cream. It's just a little bit more fattening, I suppose, to use cream, but not much because this is still quite fattening as well. So you only use half a can. Unless you want it really, really creamy, use the whole can, but it does add calories. Okay, so you'll find when you open your coconut milk, you've got like a big layer of this beautiful creamy stuff on the top. You want all of that. And well, you want half of that, sorry, my can was already half used because I made this previously, and then you add all the water that's in there. So use half the can and then the other half the can keep for another time to make this again and make a different recipe that uses coconut milk. Okay, so the next thing you need to add then is a can of chickpeas. Or if you don't want to use chickpeas and you want to use chicken, you need to fry off a couple of chicken breasts, and once they are completely sealed on the outside so they don't look pink anymore, all the pieces, then you put it into your slow cooker then, okay? I'm just going to use chickpeas, so I'm going to add those in. And then for a final little bit of flavour, this is a kind of optional, but I think it tastes really nice. I've got some coriander leaf. Which you can use just fresh coriander. You can buy a sprig of coriander, and I'm going to add that onto the top. So now what I'm going to do is pop the lid on my slow cooker, and I'm going to put this on for around 4 or 5 hours, possibly a bit longer, it depends how you like it. And then after that, then it'll be preparing some rice and stuff to eat it with, but probably just going to use microwave rice, which is nice and easy. And finally, I just wanted to say, if you are cooking it on the stove instead of the slow cooker, if you're using the stove and a pan, then don't cook it for anywhere near 4 to 5 hours. That's just for a slow cooker recipe. So what you need to do is get it to the boil, and then turn it down so it's on a medium to low heat, and leave it like that for probably about 30 to 45 minutes. Keep checking it, and once it's done at least 30 minutes, then have a taste and see how it is. If you've got chicken in there, make sure it's even longer, just to be safe, okay? So thank you, enjoy your recipe, let me know how you get on.